Hello guys, this is Pure Cell here, and I'm here to talk about the top 5 underrated nu metal bands.
Love it or hate it, nu metal, you have to admit it's a very diverse genre with bands having their own unique take on the sound, with bands like the more raw stuff like Korn or Cold Chamber or Slipknot, no, not Slipknot, Korn, Cold Chamber or System of a Down, and then you have the more post grunge sort of influence bands like let's say Puddle of Mud, Seaver or Stained. And then you have the more rap influenced stuff like Limp Bizkit or Crazy Town. And finally, you have the more alternative stuff like Papa Roach or Linkin Park. Here, I'm going to talk about one of the most underrated bands from the genre, bands that I think didn't de- really deserved um, didn't really deserve the limelight they got. I feel like no, so they really deserved the limelight they got. They needed, and I think needed more attention overall and more respect. So here's my top 5 underrated nu metal bands. Let's go.
Number 5, Unloco. Now, Unloco, they were more on the sort of alternative side like Linkin Park and Papa Roach were, but they still kind of had their own unique take on the genre. They were definitely the more alternative sort of side of it, uh, with a more somber, sort of depressing sound. Their album Becoming I, for example, really um, touched on that kind of sound with some acoustics and sort of aggro, sort of screaming and just guitars and just the overall sound of Unloco. I think they really deserved more attention because I think if they I think they just I think they should have gotten a little bit more respect. They're the lowest in my list because they didn't really do a lot for nu metal. They were kind of just that band, that tried to do their own unique sort of blend of a genre. But their sort of unique take on the genre, taking what the sound pretty much was in the post 2000s era of the movement and sort of making a unique, and they tried to be unique and they tried to span on the nu metal sound and a different take, and you got to give credit for that at least because they a lot of songs in Becoming I are actually really good and entertaining, and I suggest they're one of those nu metal bands that would I would definitely suggest. And yeah, that was number 5, Unloco. Unloco, I just think they were just one of those bands that they were underrated pretty much. They're the underrated nu metal band that I think should have gotten a little bit more attention. But not my top pick though for this list. Number 4, no, number 4, Injected. Injected, they were sort of in the sort of category of Incubus where they tried to go for a more sort of softer, more melodic approach to the genre. I think really what they wanted to do, um, they really wanted to make nu metal are more like bouncy and sort of happy and sort of not everything is like sad all the time, you know, and just unlike Unlocal where they just put the depressing stuff right into the bone. But Injected, they were more of a sort of like, you know, positive sort of sounding bands. And I think a lot of songs in Burn It Black are really catchy and very memorable, especially Faithless, which is probably one of my favourite songs on the album. So yeah, I think Injected should have gotten a little bit more credit because I think they were one of those sort of post grunge nu metal bands that sort of tried to take it, didn't really take the genre seriously, uh, and did it well, you know. And you gotta you gotta be thankful for that. That they're not all nu metal bands are all about the rapping or screaming or like, oh, I'm so sad, all that stuff, or oh, I want to just have sex, all that stuff, you know. And they were definitely a more mature band compared to the other ones. So, gotta give credit to that. I would suggest their album Burn It Black. So, yeah, number 4, that was Injected.